Welcome to Bias Bash. I'm Lauren Green. The media's progressive wing seems shocked and confused after Black Lives Matter's activists interrupted Bernie Sanders' speech in Seattle. But should the press be surprised? Here with his take is Justin Duckham, senior Washington correspondent for Talk Radio News Service. Welcome, Justin.
Hey, great to be here.
So should the media be surprised?
I really don't think they should be, and I think they've been missing a huge portion of the story. Bernie Sanders is, of course, the insurgent candidate going up against Hillary Clinton. He is the person who activists know that they can go to sort of get their views heard, and they are engaging him in a way to try to get their message out there. Also, we are seeing a field right now that really is not discussing a lot of the issues that is mattering to the Black Lives Matters movement. I was in Ferguson and I was in Baltimore, and I saw a lot of young people who had not really been engaged in the political process, who suddenly found themselves sort of riled up by the incidents that went on there and were really brought to the community stage here. And now we have a presidential field who is not really addressing these issues, who's not coming out and not talking about racial justice or police brutality, even though we have a huge engaged base, which is pretty shocking to see in this country. And I think that is something that the media has simply ignored so far.
You know, something else I think the media has ignored. I was very shocked, too, that I didn't realize what a following he had among this sort of multiracial kind of constituency. And one of the things that surprised me is that rapper Lil B, he switched his support from Hillary Clinton to Bernie Sanders because, this is a quote, "No one's really been saying anything about Hillary Clinton besides that she's a woman and running for office." Is this the problem, that the media hasn't quite, they've kind of bought into that Hillary's the Democratic candidate and the nominee, probably, presumptively, and so they're kind of ignoring everybody else's credentials here?
I think that's absolutely true. Hillary Clinton has been sort of anointed as the de facto Democratic candidate, but there is the huge base of the Democratic Party that are demanding economic equality, are demanding a higher minimum wage, and are really looking forward to the Bernie Sanders sort of economic message. Initially, there's sort of a belief that Bernie Sanders was going to be able to move Clinton to the left, but there are a lot of people who are sort of realizing even if Clinton moves to the left, they have a pretty engaging, exciting candidate in Bernie Sanders, and I think we'll ultimately side with him once we come closer to Election Day. And that's a big deal when it comes to Hillary Clinton trying to hold on to her lead.
Just the overall idea of this Black Lives Matters, I mean, it's always about the narrative. And the narrative of Black Lives Matters, because it's such a grassroots movement, does it just not fit into the narrative of, the sort of the liberal whites, are the saviors of the black population? Is that part of it?
I think that's the source of a lot of frustration. Frankly, if you have a higher minimum wage, that's not really going to deal with a lot of issues that Black Lives Matter activists are really worried about. They view a lot of this as being an existential threat to them. Even if you're making $15 an hour, if you have to live your life out of fear of, being beaten up or killed by a police officer, that's not going to change things. Take Trayvon Martin, for instance. He was in a gated community. He was somebody who was allowed to be there, and he ultimately found himself profiled and lost his life. So that really shows that this goes beyond just sort of the economic message and is actually sort of a big social, achievement that they're trying to get done.
Very interesting stuff. All right. Thank you so much, Justin.
Thank you.
If you want to hear more media analysis on this topic, catch Media Buzz with Howard Kurtz, Sundays at 11 a.m. Eastern and again at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Fox News Channel. I'm Lauren Green, and thanks for watching.